And welcome back to On the Hash with Hatfield here as we stream here on this final week of the November slate into December as we get ready for some state semifinal football games this weekend. And we're so kind to be joined by the head football coach at Brentsville District. What a job he has done there in just a few years. Loren White, so kind to be with us after his team's thrilling win in the Region 3B championship. They're headed back to the state semifinals for the third consecutive year, and they've got a matchup against a team from the Hampton Roads area. A lot of fans in our area in the 7-5-7-0. But, Coach, congrats on another great season. It was another heart-stopping win for your team in the regional playoffs to get to the state playoffs again, and you're used to this the last couple of years, aren't you?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, just blessed to be back 3 times in a row. This last one, hats off to Armstrong. It's a very talented athletic group from there, but we did what we did to come out in the end, able to get our third regional title from that point, and then get back to the steps where we've been the past 3 years, and finally get together the stuff this week to be able to go play a hard Lafayette team.
Correct me if I'm wrong, was it last year or the year before you had a regional semifinal championship game that went down to the wire just like this one that you had with Armstrong, which we'll get to in just a second, as well as looking ahead to your game coming up here with the Lafayette Rams in the state semis. So this is something that's no new experience for you and your kids, is it?
No. It was I believe the first year, Meridian, just being down, and I think it was like 7 or 10 seconds left, whatever, and they get that screen press off the Bryce Jackson, and the temperature was it was colder that night, but it felt just as cold this past Friday too. So definitely wintertime football feeling, football environment, big game. So our kids have responded year to year. So I'm happy to be here. We just got keep executing going forward week to week.
And the hero for you in the game, if I'm not mistaken, Tyler Owens, who hadn't caught a pass the entire game. He's been a key playmaker, which we'll touch on for you all year long. But 7 seconds to go. You're in a seesaw battle with Armstrong, who didn't have its coach in the game. You had a 21-6 lead. You ended up getting behind 28-21. Take me through that play as he ends up becoming the hero there at the end. And it was pandemonium, I imagine, on your field there for that finish.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy, stands and everything from that point. But to get down that, like you said, we're up ahead, and they came back and made great plays, and we just adjusted well from that point what we were trying to do. We just had an opportunity, which they, I thought they were going to punt it to us. They ran out the back of the end zone, gave a safety to us. Then from there, we had the chance to get a drive where it was a lot of Nico and Trent, and then from there throwing passes. I think Tyler first caught his first one for a first down. I think it was like 3rd and 7. He caught like a pass for 12, and then it came to the point where we had, I think it was like, 12 seconds, 14 seconds, or something like that. That came down to my offensive coordinator, Jesse Jackson. He just saw the advantage there. Everybody's going to expect Nico to get it. He was already toting it a lot for that drive down there. So we had a formation to go out. We had Langston, and we had McCullough come in. And then the defender was with Tyler first, and then he tripped and fell down. And Trent was able to get away from the pressure, and a great throw over there. And when he caught it, I mean, it was just pandemonium from the stands and the sideline when they're crazy. So big play from Tyler. He's been steady for us all year. I know he gets a lot of attention from defenses and opens up a lot of stuff for everybody else. But, I mean, if somebody's going to clutch it at the end, you definitely want it in his hands.
What's different, Coach, about this team as opposed to the last 2 years? I know you had a run to that juggernaut that was Phoebus and still is with arguably the best defense in the entire state, any division, the way they have just been shellacking people. But I'm sure your kids gained something from those experiences, the maturity. You brought back a lot of key players like Nico Orlando, Caleb Alexander, Tyler Owens, your son Langston, who is a commitment to William & Mary to play his college football defensive backbone part. What have you seen different about this year's team than the 2022 and 2021 editions of Brentsville District football?
This group, I mean, it's like you said, a lot of those names, but especially our core guys with Caleb, Nico, Langston, Trent, Sebastian Hansford, who's our center, and all those are our 5 captains that we have. I mean, this group been together since I first got the job, and they know the culture and the way we want the program to be like, and what they molded in their minds of what Brentsville District football should be. So just from year to year, seeing those guys grow in the off season and you make strides to get the attention of colleges that they have, especially with Langston and Nico and Caleb, from that point. But just being in a vision what they want this program to be, uh, hats off to them and seeing and trusting me along the way and the staff to continue to build this program the way we want it to be there. So, I mean, it's great seeing it grow from that point. And, of course, when those guys are ready to go, then the other groups up and they'll be in the system and ready to grow. So it's good to see the program continue to grow. And like I said, with numbers, from our first year, being two programs on like 60 to now being in a program with two programs together make 100. So, I mean, just love seeing it. The more people come out, the more people want to be part of the program. And then this is by far one of the best communities for sports there is. So it's always great looking behind you, seeing the crowd too.
That's awesome. You've had a couple of rivalry games into the regular season, which we'll touch on too, with Kettle Run, who was in the state championship a year ago in Class 4, moving down to your region in 3B. We're chatting with Loren White. He's the head football coach at Brentsville District. 3 consecutive regional championships. Are getting ready to play host to Lafayette, 2 o'clock Saturday in the state semifinals for a chance to go to Liberty University in the state championship in Class 3 against the winner of the matchup between Liberty Christian, the Region 3C champions, and William Byrd, the Terriers, the Region 3D champs. It's on the hash here with Hatfield. I want to know about coaching your son, what it's been like these last few years for you and for him. He's going to William & Mary. He's certainly having a great year, 93 total tackles as it's starting to scroll across our ticker here, the stats for you guys this year, 7 sacks, couple of forced fumbles, 2 picks. He's an all-state level performer. And I know it's got to be bittersweet that this is going to be coming to the end either this week or in the state championship. You'd rather it be next week, of course, but the finality is going to be coming soon for you these last couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to do. I mean, that group, especially him, he knows it all. He's got, his mind 2 weeks, and then he's done high school football and then on to the point of the stage from there. But it's been great. A lot of people ask me before, you've been doing all your life. I'd never coached him in the younger sports. I mean, I had other people that I trusted before and had great programs, whether his first sport when he played soccer or anything like that. I didn't coach him at all until we got to the high school, and it just worked out the way with the first year being a Patriot and then from here on being at Brentsville. So it's been a bittersweet thing, as a father and son. You get on each other's nerves stuff, but we have it in line. You go home and it's basically back to I'm dad and he's son, and talk from that point and everything like that. So, but we get along well with everything going. Sometimes he has selective hearing, but what teenage kid doesn't? So it's great.
Yeah, you have to at some point, I think, just to tune not just not so much the coach part out, but the dad part out, because you're certainly you're wanting the excellence out of him, perfection, if you will. Your team's been really good this year, Coach. Let's talk about just the season in general before we get to the Lafayette matchup. Nico Orlando's a big part of your offense. You have an injury we'll also hit on here in a second with a quarterback who's been superb for you. But at what point in the year did you feel like this team was getting to that point? Because you did have a loss early in the year. I think it was to Millbrook. Was there much of a adversity for that group from that? And what did you learn from the defeat? And give me kind of maybe a turning point on your journey here, if you can.
No, I mean, we felt that we knew high expectations coming to the year with this being a group that's been together for 3 years and just being, filling in different spots. We've always been a strong run game team, but I think this year we were able to spread it out a little bit more with Caleb having a more secure thing of the offense and having the most, viable guys outside with Owens and Hayes was outside, McCullough stepping up, and Von der Haar at tight end, and then being able to still bring in rotation Blake Fletcher and Langston and other guys. So you got weapons around him, so that makes him more versatile than people to put 8 people in the box and stop Nico. But now we were able to throw it out, so I caught a lot of people off guard. And then defensively, just to have guys step up this year and just be, to the grain and trust the scheme and the system is great going from there. So I think pretty much from that point, especially after that Millbrook one, which was a weird situation because you play Friday and then everybody across the state had thunderstorms and you're thinking, okay, can you push to Saturday? And then it's the roughing situation. We couldn't play Saturday. Nobody could play Sunday. You play Monday and then the Monday's got to be at like 5 o'clock. And, Millbrook ain't no short drive for us at all. Like I tell everybody, a lot of our games are like playing, D3 college. We travel. So, we get out of school at 2:05 and it's immediately on the road. So I think that adversity to it took a lot, but there's no excuse. We laced them up at time. We had opportunities. We made penalties. bad here from there, and then they were able to capitalize in overtime in the day. So I think a lot of stuff was wake-up call to us to make sure we're always on cue, always ready to go. I think from there we adapted and even brought that boys group together. But I think pretty much the big one that I seen that we are now rolling with is basically with the kettle run game and finally getting that one and seeing the boys, the preparation, the focus that week. I think it's been the same way going since that point. I think they're really locked in right now. It's a dangerous group when they're locked in.
Well, the thing that got me, Coach, about your game with Kettle Run, which I thought was going to be a toss-up because I figured you would play them twice. I actually thought you might see them in the region championship as opposed to the region semifinals. You end up beating them, I think it was 31-13 the first go-around, 28-7 the second time. The first go-around, you got down in that game. You threw for $146 with Alexander. You also ran for close to 200 yards with Nico and Caleb, but then your defense got a pick six from Tyler Owens, Langston, Nico, Trent Hayes, all those guys made some tackles for you. It felt like you really made some good adjustments on the fly against a Kettle Run offense that folks that don't know with Colton Quaker and that ground attack, they're hard to keep down. You did it not once but twice. How much of that confidence in the way you pulled away the first go round help you in the preparation for the second go round here in this playoff run you're on right now?
Extremely a lot. I mean, especially, a group like Kettle Run, like you said, their offense, the world coach team, the weapons they have, the schemes they do, the different formations they give. I mean, it's a team that makes you use all your hours every single day, preparing for them. There's no taking a break off or focus on one thing. So I think being focused that week, seeing the way the kids were in film sessions and getting stuff done. And then, we started off slow, and a lot of people felt the same thing, but hitting on the cues for offense to get thriving like that and the defense to finally knuckle down, I think that really take a lot of stuff. And that pretty much took that confidence and placed on his back. And then to get it and to see him again in 2 weeks, knowing the same thing, whether Quaker or not, it's still a great team. It's a well-coached team that you had the scheme for, and to respond in the same way. Definitely, was a big lift, and I think our kids are riding that wave from that point. And we've definitely seen it so far this week. The focus locked in, just the little things kids are seeing in film and coming back and talking about. So, I mean, this group's got it together and they're locked in from that point. Now we just got to make sure we just execute it on Saturday.
We'll get to the Lafayette matchup here in just a moment, but give us the status of Caleb. Is he out for this game for sure? I know Trent Hayes has filled him rather well in his place. What's kind of his update, if you can provide one for us?
As of right now, we're going to keep Caleb out. The status of knees is not really confirmed of everything was, and he hasn't really got a good amount of practice time where I feel comfortable putting him out there. So he will be out this week again.
Gotcha. We wish him all the best and a speedy recovery because he has been a talented young man who I know has been working his tail off for you all this year. Lafayette Rams, they're 11-2. They're playing their best football at the right time of the year, as you know, with Andy Lynn's crew that won a state championship during the COVID-shortened season. They beat Lake Taylor rather thoroughly after it was a tight ball game in the first half. They shellacked Heritage 49-0, which a lot of us expected that to be a closer ball game, and they've got a pretty potent passing attack. What do you see on film, and can you really kind of make a comparison to anybody that you've seen this year or in the past? Are they just unique in what they do? What do you see from Lafayette on the videotape?
Just seeing film. I mean, this is a team that's, like I said, is well coached, as equal all around. You don't have you have talented players, but you don't have a big superstar where you have to play in for or a double team from that point. It's all equal all around. I mean, this offense is well oiled. It's not your sexiest offense ever in the world, but it's one that gets it done. And it's putting up 40 points the past 3 weeks. I mean, it's doing something to you. So we've been getting ready to prepare for it all week, but I mean, just seeing them on film, they execute to a T. They get stuff. They play downhill defensively. They get after it. They give you different looks here and there. The secondary plays well, can run with you. So, it's going to be a hit it in the mouth kind of game. And, it's going to be the main ones who can take care of the ball going forward and who can get down to the end and execute at the end of the day and who can stop the other one from executing. So this is your prime regional game, semi-state game that you want to see to make sure, it will. And I think it's a great test for us to see what we can do defensively against his offense and at the same time see how our offense can expand, continue what we're doing against their defense. So great group. They got there especially well coached, but definitely you see the coaching is really the big part of that.
For sure. I'll get you out on this. Everybody says, football games are won with running the ball, stopping a run, whoever can, minimize the mistakes. But it feels like this is going to be a really gut check for both sides, the line of scrimmage. This is a line of scrimmage type of game, which all football games are, but do you get that sense that early on that's going to set the tone in this matchup for you guys and them?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just seeing what their line does on offense and especially defense. They got a very talented nose guard. Didn't catch the name of it. It was on my report somewhere, but it's going to come to the front. And then with the way our front gets off the ball offensively against their defensive front, then our defense to be able to get with that front and read the keys. I mean, they run the misdirection. They run power right at you. They run, full speed. Everything they do is full speed. So can't second guess yourself. You just got to be really locked in on what your assignment is and do your job. I think if everybody does their job and still does what we preach as a defense to tackle, turnover, touchdowns, then we'll come out successful at this.
Should be a fun one over at Brentsville District, where they will play host to Lafayette in the Class 3 state semifinals. Tigers at 12-1, Rams at 11-2. Winner moves on to Liberty University in Lynchburg for the state championship on December the 9th against whoever prevails in the Liberty Christian versus William Byrd matchup. I'd ask you about that game, Coach, but I know you're worried about your game. You'll worry about Byrd or LCA if you get through this one. You can't focus on those other two teams at this time of the year. It's all about one day at a time, one game at a time. So we'll wish you all the best, and thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and we'll chat again with you soon.
I appreciate you, Matthew. Thank you so much.
That's the head coach at Brentsville District. 3 consecutive regional championships. They've got Lafayette on deck here as they try to get to the state championship. Loren White here from Brentsville District. We'll take a timeout and come back with more here as we finish up our discussion, analysis, and more on the high school football state semifinals. You're watching On the Hash with Hatfield. Like, share, and subscribe to our Virginia Beach Sportsplex YouTube channel. And wherever you're tuning in, also on virginiapreps.com, as well as our Twitter and XV with 757 Sports Talk and Facebook. We'll hear from some of our sponsors that make this possible for us at the Plex. Stay tuned.